What's going on? How are you? I hope you're doing well. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've done one of these, and really, it's just like when you get that spark of creation, you feel like you need to turn the camera on and do something. This has no form. This has no shape. I have no script. I have no idea. I'm just going to be ranting, not necessarily ranting, but discussing. Forgive the ASMR car noises outside. I live on a busy street. Anyway, let's let's focus. Let's focus for a second. Well, I wanted to talk about something. I've noticed that there seems to be this narrative that digital games are the future, and to an extent, I agree. But right now, I think it's a better idea to capitalize on the fact that physical games are still a thing, like they still exist. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just throw the camera on, turn on the microphone, and talk. I'm gonna make cases for physical games and digital games, and then I'm gonna talk about my preference, which you may or may not know depending on what you've listened to already. I yeah, I think excuse me. I think okay. Let's look at some facts for a second. Digital games are easier to acquire, right? There's no arguing that. You don't have to leave your house to get them. Assuming you have a working credit card or if you prepaid gift cards, whatever, it's just vastly easier to get your hands on a digital game. Um and that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It being easy is see, I don't really have a structure for this, so this is really going to go off the rails quite a bit. I'm going to lose my train of thought because I don't really have one. I think the biggest problem with digital games is that in recent years, you know, consoles have decided to make this shift to where when you have a physical game, it installs it on your console as if it is a digital game. So physical is like in terms of spacing, physical and digital, there's no difference, right? The only difference is you have this disc, right? Like I had to install Arkham Knight for stream recently. It was 60 gigs, 60 gigabyte game. If I have it digitally on my PlayStation, I physically on Xbox. They're the same size. There's no difference between them. Whereas in the 360, I didn't have a PS3. In the 360 era, you had the option to install a game, which would make it run easier, but you didn't need to install the game to play it. Whereas now it's you need to install this game to play it. That's where your install time comes from. You put the disc in, and then you have to wait. Depending, like maybe there's an update that takes forever. Maybe there isn't. It doesn't really matter. The point is, in terms of like file size, I haven't looked this up. There might be a difference, but in my experience, there's little to no difference between getting a physical version of a game and a digital version of a game. So there's no difference there. So file size doesn't really make that much of a difference. The appeal for digital games is that it's easier, right? We're in the middle of a global situation. I don't know the right way to refer to it. We're in the middle of a situation where we shouldn't be going outside and interacting in storefronts and with other people and stuff like that. You need to mask up, you need to wash your hands, carry on hand sanitizer, all that good stuff. And in that regard, yeah, it is a lot easier to get digital games. So now digital games have come to this forefront, right? Where, digital marketplace, like Steam has always been like huge. And PC games, we don't really do physical for PC games anymore. We've kind of moved on from that. There are some places that do it as like a novelty, right? Like I think you can get Undertale for PC in like a case from Fangamer. You could look that up. But in terms of consoles, it's everything is shifting digitally. And I thought to myself, why? Because realistically, I don't get that. I don't get that. I think physical games serve a lot more of a purpose for a couple reasons. I think having a physical game is just better objectively because it's just nice to have that physical thing. It's nice to have this tangible thing, whereas like you can display it on your shelf. People can come over and look at it. You can let your friend borrow the game. And most importantly to me, you can trade that game in. Now, I know there's like the whole meme around GameStop is like, oh, when you trade a game in, you get 50 cents. That's still some return investment. Like if you put $65 after tax into a game and you get 50 cents back for that game, you still lost less than you would have originally, right? Whereas if you get a game digitally, you're still spending $65 because that's tax. You're not paying on shipping, right? If you're shipping games, then it's an extra charge. But physically, if you walk over to a GameStop that's nearby, a local game store, or if you have Amazon Prime and your shipping is free, you're paying around $65. I don't remember the actual price. I'm rounding. Let's say I'm rounding. You spend your $65 on a physical game versus a digital game. Now, with the digital game, if you don't like it, Steam has a thing where you can return it after a certain, like if it's less than a certain amount of hours played. I don't know the return policies on PlayStation and Xbox. I never bothered to look at them. I'm sure that they're like solid enough, but I feel like most of the time when I go through buying a digital game that's only digital because I can't get it physically, there's always like, oh yeah, there's no refunds for this. I always just assume that there's no refunds for it, and I'm like fine with it, right? It's a digital game. If I don't like it, I uninstall it and I put it in my past. But with a physical game, if I don't like it, if it's new and I didn't like it, right? Here's two good examples. I got Destiny 2 and Monster Hunter World, and neither of them were really my game. I'm not saying that they're bad games. I think they're both very good games. I've seen the cultural impact that they have, and I recognize that they're phenomenal games in their own right. I just don't. They're not my cup of tea, right? That's just not my genre. And, I got them because they looked cool. I wanted to play Destiny 2 with my friends. I didn't even end up playing with them that much. So I returned Destiny 2 and I returned Monster Hunter World pretty close to, like, release. Like, I would say within, like, a month or two, I returned both of those games. And I think I got, like, $20, right? I don't remember exactly how much, but I remember being like, wow, GameStop's giving me like a respectable amount for this. Excuse me. There's a tickle I didn't have a tickle in my throat until I started talking. So now that I'm talking, I have this tickle, and this is just how I live my life now. So, right, Monster Hunter World, Destiny 2. Returned them, got some money back. I wouldn't have been able to get any money back if I had got it digitally. I would have had to eat, well, let's say 65 and 65, call it 130, which is what it is. I got $20 back for each game, let's say. What's that? Net loss of 65, right? 130? No. Oh my god, net loss of like 95. Yikes. $95 I lost on 2 games. That's 20 each. Yeah, it's $90. I can't math right now. Why can't I math right now? If I spent 65 and I got $20 back, 45. 45 and 45 is 90. It's $90. I'm out $90 on my investment. Yes, 130 minus 40 is 90. I can math. I used to be really good at math. This global situation is really messing with my math skills for some reason. Now, with that being said, what am I saying? I was too busy thinking about math. What am I talking about? We're talking about the money that I lost. If I had done it digitally, I would have lost $130. I would not be interested in these games. I don't want to play these games anymore. I don't want them. That $40 can put me towards another game. I can put those $40 towards another game with GameStop's trade-in. Right? So now instead of spending $65 on the next game, I spent $25. I got $40, 25. So now for one game, I'm at $115. And I only have one game to show for it. That's better than me being at $195. You see what I'm saying? The math is there. You just got to think about it for a second. Now, one of the biggest things I have against digital games is the way Sony handles digital games. I don't know if this is still the case. It was the case at a very specific point. I was trying to change my Xbox gamer tag, my Sony username, all that stuff to say Odd Hour because, Odd Hour had found some success. So I was like, okay, that will be my brand. I'll change all my personal stuff. I'll become Odd Hour on all platforms. And I did it on Xbox. I did it on Steam. I did it on Call of Duty. I did it on Switch. All pretty easy, right? Xbox lets you do it for free. So does Steam. Switch does too. If you want to do it again on Xbox, it costs money. That's not the point. Sony, I wanted to change my username from Mukidatara, which is still my username on Sony, to Odd Hour or Odd Hour NYC, whichever. When I was there, I filled out all the works, whatever. When I was about to hit confirm, I was hit with a message that said, hey, you might lose some of the licenses to these games when you switch your username. And that's scary, right? We're talking about, well, I haven't had my PlayStation for that long, right? I didn't have a PS3. I got my PS4 maybe 2016, maybe 2017. In the mid 2000 teens, I got my own PS4. And maybe even 2018. Whenever Marvel Spider-Man came out, I'm pretty sure. I got my PS4 came with Uncharted 4. So maybe early 2018. I don't remember. Anyway, all those digital games, all that, the PlayStation Plus and all that, whatever. I would have lost. Imagine if I had been a PlayStation gamer since what do you call it? Since the PS3 era. So I mean, I had a PS2, but those games didn't really transfer from over to PS4. That's another issue. That's in the PlayStation versus Xbox debate, which you can go watch or listen to. What if I had my entire library dedicated exclusively digitally? There's a version of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series that is only digital. I'm not worried about people who bought the Xbox Series. Everything, like, one time I had an issue with my license where I couldn't play Bully on my Xbox One. I called Microsoft and they fixed it. They just updated all their licenses and it was easy. I had changed my gamer tag and all that stuff. No problem. But if Sony is straight up saying, Microsoft doesn't even mention that. That's just like a glitch that happens sometimes. Of all the games I have on Xbox, we're talking since like 2007, I've been playing on Xbox. That's when I got my Xbox 360 and Halo 3. I've had one issue with licenses. One. Imagine if I had been... Flip it. Imagine if I had all my digital games on PlayStation and I just lost all of that. All of that because I wanted to change my username. That's a scary thought. That's a very, very scary thought. Now, why... Okay. Both the Xbox Series S, which is the digital only, is I think $300. The PS5 without a disc tray is $400. I think those are the prices. Regardless, it's cheaper to have the disc tray, which obviously makes sense. You're not spending as much. I mean, you're not buying the rest of the tech. I don't think a disc tray is worth $100, but that's another story. When you get something without a disc tray, you commit to everything being digitally. And if you get hacked, if you lose your account, I know people, right? A very, very good friend who's been a huge supporter of Odd Hour and like all of this, Dougie Fresh, has like lost their PlayStation account. We play Fall Guys all the time. He has to use his backup account now because his first account got modded, hacked, whatever it was. He lost everything. He lost all of his fits in Fall Guys, all of his progress and all that stuff. Gone. Totally gone. By default, in the same situation, if you have a physical library, you are in a better position because you still have your physical games. You might lose your save data and all that stuff, but you don't have to buy the games again. If account number 1 has 100 games, all digital, right? And I lose this account, there I go. But if account number 2 has 50 digital games and 50 physical games, right? 99 games, 99 digital games and 1 physical game, and this account gets lost. They still have 1 game. 1. They still have a game. They're not totally out of everything. And I'm sorry, and realistically, we can't rely on technology as much because we get hacked all the time. I'm sure somebody listening to this has, or if you're watching on YouTube, has had their credit card hacked. My credit card's been scammed before. I've lost like hundreds of dollars. It happens a lot. A lot. We have too much, that's a whole other issue, too much reliance on the digital landscape. That's a much bigger issue than what we're talking about in video games, but we can talk about it at another point. My point right now is that my voice is cracking because I'm so concerned about the fact that digital games are just the future. Digital games are the future, But while physical games are still relevant, you should capitalize on it. Unless you're 100% convinced that you are going to enjoy the game that you are buying, you should probably get it physically. You can gift it to a friend, right? And there's like account sharing, right? Like I have Modern Warfare. I can play Modern Warfare multiplayer and campaign because a friend gave me the login for their account. Fine. They got it digitally. I have it digitally because of it. That's fine. But if you have another friend who wants to borrow it, you can't do it. It's usually just one per person. You can usually share an account with one other person. I have this physical game here. Do you want to play Portal 2? Okay, here. Take that, and next time we meet up, give it back. That's it. That's the transfer system. Remember how Xbox and PlayStation, they had like a feud, or PlayStation was like, how do you share games with a friend? And that was that. Whereas Xbox was like, no, one disc is to one thing. Whatever. Physical games need to be used while they're still relevant. Now, if you don't have access to a game store, it's going to cost you more money in the long run to get physical games than go digital. I'm not trying to get you to stop going digital. I'm trying to make it clear that physical games still have worth. If for nothing else than just to have something pretty on my shelf. My shelf is... I have 2 bookcases over there. Like 3-4 of the shelves are full of video games. I had to stack them on multiple shelves too. It's having a collection like that is beautiful. Not everybody is a collector. That's fine. It's just nice. It's nice to have this physical thing. And again, GameStop, as bad as it is, there are like offers, there are promos, right? If I want to take my copy of Portal 2 and put it towards what's coming out soon? What's coming out soon? God of War. The new God of War that's coming out. God of War Ragnarok. If that is coming, like it's a month away, a lot of times GameStop will offer these promos of like, hey, if you trade something in, you'll get an extra like 10% towards the pre-order, specifically if you pre-order. So if I trade in Ghost of Tsushima and I get $10 for it to GameStop, if I trade it in towards towards the new God of War, it's $11 instead of $10. It doesn't sound right to use just a tiny little dollar as an example, but realistically, if you keep doing this, those dollars add up. And especially if you're already committing to the fact that you want your money back, every dollar counts. So digital games are fine. Again, they're easier. I don't have to leave my house. I'm sitting in my pajamas right now. I don't have to dress up and go to GameStop. Well, dress up to go to GameStop. I don't have to put like normal pants on. I got my Mario pajama pants. I don't have to put on like normal pants, my shoes, walk the 10 blocks, however far it is to GameStop. But on the flip side of that, I have Amazon Prime. So I can just ship games to my house. And I can get them cheaper. A lot of times when a game first gets listed on Amazon, it's like $10 cheaper. I got Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Cyberpunk 2077, and Marvel's Avengers for $10 cheaper because I have Amazon Prime. Because when they were first listed, they were each $50 instead of $60. That's not the case with digital games. Physical games go on sale too. I didn't even talk about them being on sale. Digital sales happen all the time. That's fine. Digital sales are cool. Like, it's great. But a lot of the time, digital sales are still more expensive than physical sales. I haven't seen any hard numbers to confirm this. You're more than welcome to be like, no, here's this study. Digital games are cheaper. You can do that. My point is, a lot of the time, the whole pre-owned thing, it's $15 a year at GameStop for a membership, or $25 if you want to get the magazine like I do. That's not a whole lot of money to save a lot on games that are pre-owned. The pre-owned system is fine. You don't need a new game every single time you go out. Every time you get a new game, you can wait for someone to not like it and get it for cheaper because of it. That's just a fact. Unless it's a new game, I kind of prefer to get pre-owned. If it doesn't work, you have a week. You can just bring it right back. Whereas digital games, there's no pre-owned, right? It's just, oh, well, I didn't like this game. Thanks for your money. You get none of it back. The fact that you get even $1 back at GameStop sometimes is still more than the money you put in. Like, it's if you spend $40 and you make $5 back, you are still out $35. But being out $35 is better than being out $40. Is the point that I'm trying to make. That's the biggest thing for physical games. And really, what brought this all to mind is the whole GameStop stock market fiasco, right? Because I was listening to people talk about it left and right, and it was like, oh, GameStop is a dying breed. GameStop is not dying because it's physical games. GameStop is dying because they offer you 50 cents for a game. But if you use it to your advantage, you're fine. A lot of people don't use it to their advantage most of the time. I try to order from GameStop from time to time because I don't want to see GameStop fail. I don't want to see GameStop flop. I will still order things from GameStop. I have like Pokemon cards pre-ordered at GameStop. I just ordered Takes Two from GameStop. I try to work with GameStop when I can. And again, like all right, here's a good example. It Takes Two is like $60 on Amazon. It's a $40 game. I go to GameStop, $40. I think it was free shipping. It might not have been. Even if it was $5 shipping, right, for 1 to 2 days or 6 to 10 days, whatever. You're not hard pressed. You need to play It Takes Two right now. You don't. I'm a content creator, right? I'm trying to make a brand out of Odd Hour. Most of the time, yeah, there's this pressure of like, oh, a game just dropped, you should play it. And in that sense, yeah, no, I should get the game digitally because it would just be easier. Amazon kind of helps with that. But if it's a game that's been out for a while and you're just like, oh, I missed this, when it's being resold and it's not actually in stock at Amazon, it will be more expensive. GameStop, after shipping everything, $40 game, let's call it $50 after rounding up, still $10 cheaper than if I got it from Amazon with free shipping. You need to look at all your prices. And a lot of the times what I will do is I will be like, okay, how much is this game on digital and how much is it on physical? The fact that I can do both is a better position because I will work what's best for me. I will still lean towards physical because, again, if I don't like it, I can return it. I can trade it in. I can do this. I can do that. There's more that I can do with it as opposed to it just being something that I have licensed in my account name. So I don't really get why people generally have been preferring digital games over physical. You're putting yourself at a disadvantage inherently, like off the bat. And again, I can't stress this enough. I'm not knocking you if you prefer digital over physical. Honestly, forget about price and all that. It comes down to preference too. Like if you want to use all this space, even with all my physical games, I still need extra hard drives for my PlayStation 5, my Series X. I have like 9 terabytes sticking out of my PC down here. It's not a small. It's all that extra money for all that space, but that's just a sizing issue. Modern Warfare should not be 250 gigabytes. Whatever. My point is, you should use physical games to your advantage while they're still around. Because they will not be, almost definitely, because of the shift towards digital. And for collectors like me, and for people who generally enjoy having a physical thing to hold, touch, caress, that sucks. You know, it's sad to see. You know? I don't know. I'm kind of going off the rails. My point is, yeah, I said my point. Start getting physical games. Have you ever enjoyed GameStop at any point in your life and it helped you? Nah, that's not true. That's me. That's guilting you. That's guilt. If anybody ever says that, oh, you should support GameStop because of what it did for your childhood, that's guilt. Realistically, you don't owe GameStop anything. It's a business. They might have provided you with the best memories of your life, but realistically, at the end of the day, they're just out to make money. And you should be out to save money. So there. There's not really much else to say about this whole digital versus physical debate, right? I would love to hear what you have to say. Because I can sit here and I can talk at you for hours and hours and hours, but if you have something that's like, no, this is why digital is better, I want to hear it. If you agree with me that you think physical is better, I want to hear it. I want to engage with people. I want to talk with people. That's why I stream. That's why I put out YouTube stuff. That's why I have Odds Thoughts and Pod Hour and all this good stuff. I like having discussions, like deep discussions. Come on stream and stuff like that, conversations will come and go. They're very, very chill. But more structured stuff like this, even though this was not structured at all, I thoroughly enjoy. So, yeah. Yeah, that's basically my point. It's just use physical games while you can, because they won't be around forever. And if you could save a little money by, like, you know, by returning a game that you didn't really enjoy that much, you should do that. Right? Like, if you try out a game, get it pre-owned at GameStop, you don't like it, return it. You have 7 days, get your money back. If you can't do it, trade it in. You still get a little bit more than you put down. The fact that you can get anything back is important, because it doesn't put you at a total loss. If you will have to accept a lot. You'll have to look at this. If you get a game and you don't like it, you will have to accept the fact that you wasted money on this. But when you have it physically, when you have it physically, you have the option of saying, okay, I lost money on this, but I can make it so I didn't lose that much. And that's important, right? It's a money thing. My voice is cracking again. It's a money thing, it's a preference thing, it's a this thing, it's a that thing, it's an everything. It's a lot of things. I just like physical stuff, right? Like, I have a room full of collections. Like, I got into Pokemon cards. Like, look at this. You can't, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see this, but look at this Pokemon card. Wait, I'll show you my favorite. This isn't my favorite, it just makes me happy, because I like looking at them. Look at this. For those listening on the podcast, I'm holding up a shiny Ditto V. It's blue. It's blue bubblegum. And he's wonderful. And I look at him and I smile every day. Am I going to get this digitally? I could. But then I wouldn't be able to hold it like this and show it off. I'd have to take a screenshot of it and upload it to Twitter. Whereas I could take a physical picture of it and then show it to Twitter. And I could sell this. Someone out there probably wants this card for like $5 or something. I don't know how much it's going for on eBay. I don't think I'm gonna sell Ditto. I like him too much. It's a blue Ditto. Why would you sell that? Anyway, that's I think that's it. I mean, I really don't know what else to talk about. I didn't think this would be a super long episode, but I also didn't think it would be super short. I think this is a pretty good filler episode to try to get myself back into the groove of talking about stuff. I like Odds Thoughts. If you like Odds Thoughts, if you like this segment where I just talk about something that's on my mind, or I debate something, or I talk about a debate, or whatever this is, you should tell me, because I really like doing this stuff. Honestly, I haven't had any ideas lately. This is the first one that I was like, I should talk about this. So yeah, I love you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. I hope you have a good day, week, month, year. I hope I see you soon. And again, if you enjoyed it, check me out wherever. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitch. I'm on YouTube, and I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever you're listening on. I'm there. So you should subscribe. You should check out my other stuff. I love making you laugh. And now I'm trying to make you think, I guess. I don't know. This is fun. I enjoy this. All right. I will catch you later. Good night. Sweet dreams. Be good to yourself. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully.